Hey everybody, I just wanted to say, just share a little bit about things lining up and, gratitude for when, your life, you've been praying a prayer for so long and then all of a sudden things get rearranged and you get this moment of inspiration, you take action, and then things line up. So, I have a friend that, when I look at all the people in my life that I really revere and really look up to, this woman, this friend of mine, is in the top 5 people that I really see as amazing people. And our lives, when we first met, we both were dealing with relationships that we were in, and we were in relationships with alcoholics, and we were dealing with the problems of dealing with our significant others. And we had a a kindred spirits meeting, and just clicked, and spent a lot of time together, became best friends. We're also very career oriented, and we were diving into what do we want to do with our life, and what does our life want to be about, and we just were both high communicators, high functioning communicators, in the sense of very intellectual, very practical, and very hands-on. And I can't say that about a lot of people that I know, or that this person, like I said, is on the level, Water seeks water of its own level, and she's one of my top 5 people. Well, our lives took a turn, and she got married, she had children, and when she had children, me being a single person, it just wasn't lining up. And there were many times when our plans were canceled, and she's like, my kids, this and that, and I was getting frustrated because I wanted my friend, I wanted to continue our intellectual conversations. I wanted to continue our accountability to one another, and it was tough. It was rough to lose somebody that you had as your top 5 people, and then it's they get married, they have children, and their lives change. And so anyway, our lives take a split, and she's busy with family stuff, and years go by, and then our paths cross again, and she asked me to do a favor for a volunteer organization, and I agreed to do it, and so that she could step down from her position, and I could take over and continue to play that role. And I didn't really want to do it, but again, she was such an esteemed friend that I was like, okay, I'll do it for her, And during that time, I was engaged. I was thinking that my life was going in a certain pattern of the whole getting so excited to get married and start this new life and move, physically, geographically move, and all of these things that were these balls that were up in the air, and my life was changing, and there was a lot of hope in this phase. And then COVID hit, and then my fiance relapsed, and then the crazy addiction cycles, just the hardship of it all. And she was there during all the happy, wonderful, wedding preparation, but then it was again, my most important people in my life, they listened to some of the stuff that was going on with me, but it was so intense and so traumatic. Most people didn't know what to say. They didn't They didn't know how to comfort me. And that was hard, again, to like be in that phase where like you're carrying the burden yourself and your support group is not really there, and the only support that I could really have was the more like coaching and counseling and, you know, paying out of pocket kind of a thing. So anyway, some years passed, and I hadn't talked to her, hadn't seen her, and I wasn't really sure, was it just that our lives got busy? Was it any particular incident? Like, did I do something or say something to piss her off? Like, I had no idea why there was this huge distance. I had no idea why I was not invited to her Christmas parties anymore. Like, I had no idea what had happened. And, you know, I've been praying about this for years, you know, like, why? You know, like, she was my bestie, and, you know, like, why did our lives have to separate and have all this distance? And so anyway, it was today. I was in my van. I was like having my like morning, you know, quiet time with God. I'm reading my Bible. I'm just kind of enjoying my cup of coffee, just chilling, you know, like just. And then I had that impulse, like, you know, why don't you go to a 12-step meeting today, like out of the blue? And I had been, I don't know, a couple weeks ago with all the stuff with my dad, you know, coming up with his 1-year anniversary of his death. And so again, it's like when you need your resources, you reach out to your resources. And so I went to an Al-Anon meeting. And anyway, so I go into the meeting, and it's like I really had tried to like manage my time and get there on time. And sometimes with the whole van life, it's like you forget about how long it takes to pack things up and lock things down before you can just get in the driver's seat and go. And because I had, you know, prepared some, you know, food, and I had like, you know, all the food prep things out, I had to clean all that stuff, put it away, etc. And from that delay, then it's like by the time I got to the destination, it's like the parking was so much further away, which meant that I was going to have a longer walk, which meant that I was going to be delayed, which meant that I wasn't going to get there on time. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, it starts at 11:15, but it really started at 11, and just my whole day was off with the timing. And anyway, I get into the meeting, and she was the speaker, and it's like our eyes locked. And it was like, you know, a moment, you know, and yet it's like she's coming to the end of what she was sharing, and I didn't even get to hear her share. And it's like, oh man, it's like out of all the people, I would have wanted to hear her share. And yet, you know, for whatever reason, I was delayed, you know. And I listened to other people share, and then, you know, I had something that was on my heart this morning as I was in my prayer and meditation, and I shared what I was going through, which, again, timeliness, you know, connected with what other people were sharing. And the point is that, you know, it's like I'm going through my process. I'm going through my life journey. I'm moving through my emotions. I'm moving through the trauma that happened to me in the past. I'm still grieving the loss of my dad, and I'm still grieving the loss of my fiance from years ago. I'm still grieving all the things that happened to me as a victim of that relationship, and the trauma that his trauma caused me. And then I'm making the connection with my dad and the patterns of what alcoholics and addicts do and the family dynamic, and it all comes back to what, you know, your family upbringing is, and you repattern those same things because that's what you were brought up with. That's what was, quote, normal, you know. And despite all these things that I've done my whole life to avoid the alcoholic, avoid the drug addict, avoid the crazy three-ring circus type people, and yet my dad was that person, you know. So at the end of this meeting, you know, she came over to me and hugged me, and she's like, I was thinking about you the other day, and my life is so busy, and I don't know how, but today I just saw it as a sign when you sat right in front of me and you were here and I'm here. And she's like, I have time this afternoon. Are you available to go get some lunch? And I was like, I would love to. And so this is what I mean about, like, God will line up what he wants you to experience in God's timing, not in your timing. And man, was it so hard to wait that period of time to be able to connect with her. And we had such a wonderful lunch. We had so many parallel things going on in our lives, as we usually do. It was so amazing to connect with her and feel inspired again, and to be hopeful that maybe just maybe, you know, we'll be able to carve out time again as her children are now older, etc. And you know, it's been like, I don't know, 17 years. That's a long time of waiting, you know, and missing somebody, and you know, and praying for somebody. Anyway, we prayed together, we had a wonderful time together, and I'm hopeful that, you know, we will connect again. And I guess this whole message of this is that it's always in God's timing. It's not necessarily what I want. You know, it's when God has us prepped for what he wants us to go through, and how he wants to use one another to be the accountability a partner, to be the, you know, the light in the darkness, to inspire somebody that they can do it too, that, you know, that we're here for one another, and that we are all on this thing, and it's a journey, and we don't all have it figured out. We're just figuring it out one day at a time. So anyway, I hope that helps anybody that is going through that. If you'd like more information for different resources, please just comment resources, and I will make sure to put them in the comments. Have a great one, everybody.